You've heard of.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bands You've Never Heard of. I'm your host, JR. This episode's going to be a little different. This is JR from the past. Current JR is on vacation. And so this episode and the next few episodes are going to be encore presentations of original Bands You've Never Heard of segments from the podcast where this show was born, Small Things Considered. We don't do that show anymore, but these original Bands You've Never Heard of segments, for now, only live there. Until now. Because going forward, those original segments are going to become new episodes of Bands You've Never Heard of. That's what you're going to hear this episode. Is technically the first episode of the third season of Small Things Considered. We were just getting started. We had done a few bands, and this band came up on my radar from Australia named Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers. And they are cool. Kind of a surf rock, rock and roll, original stuff that would sound really good in a Quentin Tarantino or a Robert Rodriguez movie. At least that's what we thought when we listened to the songs. So what you're going to hear is a segment from several months back where I introduced Gary to Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers. I reached out to them then when we did the show, and I had some back and forth with them. And I am reaching out to them again to see if they would be interested in doing an interview. We'd have to figure out the timing and all of that. They're in Australia, and the time difference, who knows what time of day we'll be doing that, when that'll happen, or if they're even interested. But I certainly hope they are. So that's what you're about to hear is our original segment of Bands You've Never Heard of from our show Small Things Considered, featuring Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers. There will be video. I am going to come up with some stuff to put on the screen because this was originally recorded as an audio-only podcast, so I'm going to put some stuff up. So it won't just be a static image or anything like that. It might be for some part of it, but when I play Gary the video, I'll put the video up there so you can see what Gary was seeing when we recorded this show. All right. That's enough of my intro. Let's get to Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers. Tonight's band I have reached out to and have been having a conversation with. I'm going to buy some of their stickers at some point pretty soon. And I'm very excited about tonight's Band You've Never Heard of.
Awesome.
You've
Shall we get into that?
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm so glad you said that because this has been fun. I've spent 2 days listening to this band, so I don't know all the words to all the songs yet, but I'm really digging their sound, and I am excited to share them with you, Gary, and with you, our audience. So here's the criteria: bands you've never heard of. It's simply me going out on the internet and looking for bands that have very little footprint, that have a very small number of listens on Spotify, of video views on YouTube, that sort of thing. If they've had millions of plays, even hundreds of thousands of plays, I'm ignoring them. I'm looking for bands with their biggest song has 3,000 plays, things like that. And I'm also looking for bands that are good, that I enjoy listening to, that I think you'll enjoy listening to. I'm not looking for trash, right? I'm not looking for bands that we're going to just shit all over.
It's not a smash or trash.
Not at all. This is us celebrating our brothers in arms, our musical brethren, right? The people that are out there at a similar level of fame as we are. Like, that's kind of what I'm going for. And so there's no methodology to finding these bands. Sometimes it's easy on Spotify. Sometimes it's find a kind of obscure band and then go look at bands that go with that band, right? People also enjoy this other band, right? And keep going through those until you're down deep enough to the stuff that most people haven't heard of. That's one way to do it. And that's actually how I found this episode's band you've never heard of. And they're out of Brisbane, Australia. So we're going international tonight.
Brisbane.
Brisbane, yes. And the band is called, they got a great name. I've been saving saying the name because it sounds awesome. It's a great band name. Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers.
Ooh.
Right? It's a great band name.
All right, so it is conjuring a musical image in my mind.
Tell me what it is, and I'll tell you if it matches what we're going to hear.
I want to hear the music and then let you know.
No, they got to tell me the image that it just conjured. I need to hear it.
I'm thinking something along the lines of it's swamp rock in the desert is basically.
Ooh. I like where you're going with that. You might be onto something. Here's how they describe themselves: surf pop meets blues rock with a cinematic twist.
Yeah. Swamp rock in the desert.
Yeah.
There's the cinema. It's the
yeah.
Yeah.
Here's their bio from their webpage, which, by the way, is hugostranger.com. Bursting into the music scene in 2018, Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers have been making all kind of noise ever since, releasing a string of singles in 2019 and 2020, and later their debut album Against the Tide in 2021. The trio have really started to place their stamp as a staple in the Australian rock and roll music scene. Their start to 2023, so their website's a little dated, but their start to 2023 kicks off with the release of their upcoming single, Leaders, on February 20th. So it's been almost 2 years since that single was released, and I've listened to it many times. There's a video for it, and it's one of my favorite of their songs so far. But I will say this, it doesn't sound like their first album, their initial album release, Against the Tide, where they had a much softer, more Beach Boys-y type of surf rock kind of sound. There is a description on here about how they got to the name. Let me get to that here. There it is. So frontman Tom Harrison, who got a late start in music, not writing music till the eve of his 30th birthday, when he wrote the bass line for the song Dark Places and immediately knew he had found the sound he wanted. Inspired by that bass line, he wrote and bedroom recorded a solo 6-track EP under the guise of Hugo Stranger, thinking it needed an appropriate name for the sound. He was swiftly joined by bassist Ben Lane and Kyle Zinkison on drums, and after a series of rehearsals and blood oaths, a band was formed. However, the moniker Hugo Stranger was for a solo project, so taking a page from the bands that inspired them, like Dick Dale and his Deltones, and Link Wray and the Ray Men, the tag and the Rattlers, Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers was born. So I'm just loving this story. I am a big fan of like surf rock. Dick Dale and his Deltones, you had me at that right there. So that's very much the sound of their first album. All right, here's a song from their original album, the first album. I'll play a little bit of this just to give you an idea of what they sounded like when they released music into the world for the first time. Pretty sure that song has no lyrics. That's just an instrumental, which is not all of their songs. But after just
very surfy,
a little bit of one song, what are you picking up? Yeah, very surfy, right?
Very surfy. I mean that's right out of 1963, right there. I mean, it's just.
Make it stop. Okay, well, I'm just going to close the website because I can't make the music stop. But there's 2 songs, really good songs off of their first album. Thoughts so far?
The second one definitely sounded like it would fit well in a Rodriguez movie.
Yeah,
and that I think being from Australia is probably hurting them getting into the sync biz, or the sync opportunities. Because I think that's definitely with Quentin Tarantino's got one more movie in him. Rodriguez, he has as many as he darn well pleases. One of those 2 directors would be definitely looking for music like that at some point. But that's the first record, and it's not what's going now. Is that?
Yeah, correct. So they're
kind of like us too, in the fact that when our first record and what we're doing now is pretty different.
Yeah, I do want to play another song from that original album, which does sound more like their newer stuff. This is one of my favorite songs. I've been singing along with this one quite a bit. It's called Mad Woman. There you go. Mad Woman. That's one of my favorites of theirs so far. Thoughts on that guy?
I like the second one better. But it's still, this whole record has basically, that total surf thing, which I like in relatively small doses.
So you're not a surf rock you're not a big fan of like Dick.
No, I could not go. I could not go to a surf, like an all surf festival at all it would I would get bored pretty quick. But it's really cool, and I like what I like about surf is when people take it out of the box. But so often it's kind of like white boys playing blues. It's they feel like they have to stay in that box, and that's what these guys sound. They're like in this first record, which now I'm really like stoked to hear the new stuff, because I think they're going to get out of that surf box, which
I think a little
which
bit,
is
yeah.
not which is they do it really well. It's not my cup of tea.
So here's their description of the inspiration for their newest single called Leaders. And lead singer and guitarist Tom Harrison revealed the song's inception came from listening to a collection of old blues songs called Sacred Roots of the Blues, released by Bluebird. I was driving and a hand-clapping bluesy melody came into my head, so I pulled over and recorded what became the intro of this song. I wanted to take a gospel song and flip the narrative to show a darker side. Lyrically, the song conjures a church sermon detailing how so-called leaders looked down on others with judgment. And I thought, okay, I'm into this concept. All right, here's the video. We can watch it. Everybody at home, you're not going to see the video, but it's on YouTube. Go search Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers, and you'll find it. The song is called Leaders. I kind of just want to keep listening to it, but we do have a show to do.
Yeah.
So thoughts on that guy?
Oh yeah, that's where I was hoping they were going.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I mean, they still got a little bit of that surf going on. They're bringing in the swamp, which is where I like to be, and I like it definitely. And that would also, I can think of a show right now that would go in with quite well. Have you ever seen Preacher?
Yes, I haven't watched the whole
Yeah.
thing, but I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah, I think it would fit in that show quite well. No, I like that one, and that's exactly where I was hoping that they would go, if not even harder. You know,
Yeah.
I want them to get at some point. I want them to get a little gnarly,
Right.
because I think they got it in them. I really do,
I think they're getting gnarlier, and I like the direction of this band. Here's their Spotify bio. Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers is a Brisbane-based band. In 2021, released their debut album Against the Tide with 3 singles already out, and the up-and-coming rock band are well known for their original sounds of 60s surf pop blues and spaghetti western fusion. Their single By Your Side launched them into the music scene, and it was voted one of the top 20 songs in the 4ZZZ Hot 100 in 2021. I assume that's a radio station in Australia. Against the Tide incorporated singles By Your Side, Hold On, and Tonight, and sequences through a genre-hopping mix akin to the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. I was hooked at that point. The 11-track album covers everything from Beach Boys-inspired surf pop to foot-stomping garage rock, and even a touch of doo-wop for the lovers. Their sun-drenched debut will be the perfect summer accompaniment. There's one more thing that's from their website that I want to read you. It kind of cracks me up. I don't think they wrote this. This is from something called the Idiot Check Music. This is a quote that is on Hugo's website. You can't help but feel you're listening to the next breakthrough band. The Beatles in 1960, Bowie in 1967, or Kings of Leon in 2001. If you follow along with their music and their journey, you might be one of the first few to the party, but you certainly won't be the last. I thought that was funny for a couple reasons. Beatles, yeah. Bowie, yeah.
Kings of Leon?
I don't know if that's like the natural progression, right? From Beatles in 60, Bowie in 67 to Kings of Leon in 2001. I think there was a lot in between there. But again, this is not what Hugo said about themselves. This is somebody called the Idiot Check. So,
but that's that tells you what the folks at the Idiot Check what their favorite music is.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean, that's and that's high praise.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of an odd juxtaposition going from Beatles and Bowie to Kings of Leon.
Yeah.
It's but the weird part is I hear some Kings of Leon in there a little bit. You know, I don't really hear any Beatles or Bowie, but there's that's the iconic. Stuff, and then it's like, but this is what they actually sound like. Is some Kings of Leon. No, I'm digging it. I'm
so glad you like it.
I'm hoping in the future that they get a little harder, though.
I would love it if they do. I did reach out to them directly on Facebook Messenger. They are on the Facebook, and they said, "Hey, mate, thanks for getting in touch. You can play as much as you like, and we promise not to send men in suits over from Australia to rough you up. So cool that you reached out. Cheers." So they've got a sense of humor. They're fun. I love their music. I'm so glad I was able to, somehow find them on the interwebs.
That's awesome.
I hope they do get big, and if they ever come to America, I will be there in the front row.
Yeah, baby. Maybe we open up for them. That'd be awesome.
That'd be so good.
Yeah.
So that is Bands You've Never Heard Of, the first one of Season 3 of 2025, featuring Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers. We'll be back in the next episode with another band you've never heard of. I've got them picked out already. I haven't reached out to them yet, but I'm making a list. And this is the part of this show, of this season of this show, that has got me fired up and excited. I think we could do just a show called Bands You've Never Heard Of and not talk about anything else.
That could definitely be where it goes.
Bands you've heard of.
Okay, we're back. Thank you so much for listening to Bands You've Never Heard Of. We will be back next week with another classic encore presentation segment of Bands You've Never Heard Of from our original Small Things Considered podcast. But for now, that's it for tonight. Bands You've Never Heard Of is a Ranch Hand Records production. RanchhandRecords.com. BYNHO, or Band You've Never Heard Of, is hosted normally by Gary Hawthorne and me, J.R. Stoffel. BYNHO is written by me and then reacted to by Gary. He doesn't do any writing for this show because he doesn't know what's coming. All songs were used with Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers' permission. Check out their website, hugostranger.com, for more information on Hugo Stranger and the Rattlers. Also, check out the official Bands You've Never Heard Of complete playlist on Spotify with every song from every artist we have featured on Bands You've Never Heard Of. It is a wonderful playlist. It is what I listen to mostly now. You can get a link to that playlist, and of course, any and all of our shows are all on our website, BYNHOPod.com. That's BYNHOPOD.com. We also put them up on YouTube, youtube.com/@BYNHOPod. You can email us if you have questions or want to tell us how bad this show sucks. That's fine too. BYNHOPod, BYNHOPOD @gmail.com. For Gary, I'm JR saying thank you so much for watching and listening to Bands You've Never Heard Of. We'll see you in a week.